Ladies, forget designer bags and expensive things. You are not putting your money into the right place. In today's video, I'm going to give you 6 things where you should be investing more or less in terms your money so you can actually get the best return on it. Now, some of these are going to be materialistic items, others are going to be actual financial items. However, these are the things that will actually give you the most value for your investment, especially when you are just starting out and you're not sure kind of where to put the money. Now, I've always been quite very responsible with my money. I knew how to save. I've had great credit my entire life because I just had this kind of idea of where am I going and how is this going to help me? And that's kind of the mentality that you should have of what are your goals, and you vote with your dollar. Is the money you're putting up today going to actually be worth your time and your actual investment? And guess what? It doesn't even have to be a financial kind of a return that you're getting on things, okay? A lot of young females, and actually not even so young, tend to spend their money in the complete wrong places. A lot of the time it is for beautiful clothing, makeup items, but not really things you necessarily per se need. And as a female who does like beautiful clothing and items, of course I can relate. However, I'm going to give you a little bit of a different perspective, right? And aside from, obviously, you shouldn't be spending your money on kind of partying and drinks and expensive dinners, things like that, because there are way better places you can spend it that's actually going to give you a return on your investment. So the first one is going to be your business. This one is my favorite one. It will give you the highest return on your investment if you know how to do things correctly. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of investments and things like that. I don't recommend learning something that involves a high upfront capital. Most businesses do. For example, making your own kind of physical store or even investing in the stock market, things like that. For those things, you actually need money to make money. There are some very amazing businesses right now though, where you don't need a large investment. This is actually how I teach people to do it. I actually started my own business with a very small investment and it turned out to be quite successful, and now I teach others to do the same. That is Amazon FBA private label. If you want to see a training exactly on how to start this type of business, it's what I do full time. I have a second YouTube channel dedicated to that. It's called Amazon FBA private label. That's the name of the business model, and my channel is Karina Into a Milli. You can check out the training at intoamilli.com/training. I'll also link it down below. So business is the most crucial and important part because it's your future. If you're an entrepreneur, perhaps you are, maybe not, maybe you're doing some career or another passion, but for me, business definitely was because I saw it as freedom. So that's why number one thing will always be investing into business. The second thing is your physical appearance. Yes. Probably shocker that I'm saying this right after business, but first impressions are exactly that. They're first impressions and they dictate how people see you, how they perceive you for a very long time, and it's quite difficult to change a first impression. And your physical appearance has everything to do with your networking and how you further build up and expand your circles. And I think your physical appearance is extremely important, from kind of presenting yourself in the right way to the way you act, to how your skin looks, to how your body looks. So if you need to get a gym membership or maybe a personal trainer if you're really struggling, or perhaps to see a dermatologist or kind of even like a hairstylist to give yourself a glow up, and or even a manicurist to give yourself amazing nails, I definitely think it's a must, especially if you are planning, which you should be, on networking. Your physical appearance is very important and you want to look put together in your actual figure, in how your skin looks, in the type of outfits you wear. Again, this is all done strategically. I'm not saying go blow all your money, but be very strategic with your shopping and picking out garments and types of clothing that are going to elevate you and make you look like a high caliber woman, as opposed to just kind of, for example, buying fashion trends and such that is just going to make you look like a teenage girl. You want to really elevate yourself, and that is very, very important for your physical appearance. The next one is your image. And this goes to everything. Obviously, your physical appearance is how you look like, but your image consists of a lot of things. Of course, your physical appearance, and also what you know, how to present yourself in the right situations. If you need to take some type of courses, for example, if you're very shy and introverted and you don't know how to speak to people, or perhaps you don't have kind of the right manners or the right etiquette, there's classes out for that. But basically your image, and you want to continue to kind of educate yourself on important topics, on things of value that you can add and contribute in conversations. You basically want to look impressionable and a person of high caliber who can hold a conversation and just come off as interesting. And that really includes your image. You want to be light on the eyes. You don't want to look scruffy and just kind of like, you know, on the side there. So you want to make sure, of course, your physical appearance and even the way you present yourself from internally all go hand in hand. That's a very, very kind of understated way to spend your money. I mean, I see young females all the time who are quite beautiful. However, they are really not taking full advantage of the assets they were given, such as their beautiful skin, or actually not maybe doing slight improvements to their skin can make them look really glowy. And their hairstyles, for example, the way they dress, sometimes it's a beautiful woman with a beautiful figure and just a pretty woman, but they kind of do themselves a disservice by not playing up those assets, and they're just not concerned with their image. They just kind of wear sweatpants, jeans, throw on a tank top, call it a day, but they are not doing themselves very many favors when they do things like that. So you should be investing into things that are going to uplift your image. The next one is your education and your hobbies. I know that I'm catering to various ages, various women, and with various hobbies. For example, my passion is entrepreneurship, and I love the concept of starting a business from scratch and kind of building it and being kind of responsible for my own finances when it comes to the business and just bringing something up from the ground up. That's something that really excites me. However, some people are, of course, in a different direction and they prefer the traditional educational route, or they are perhaps a talented artist and have other hobbies. Maybe they are good at, I don't know, painting or singing, things like that, or dancing, right? Those are kind of hobbies or your career, but you should always be, whatever your passion is, whatever your direction in life is, you should always be investing into those things, because that is your future. That is what gives you your spark, and that is what makes people interested in you. You don't want to be someone that doesn't have goals, that doesn't have passions, or pursuing your passions and your education, and something that can give you a stream of income, obviously, and financial independence, so you can be free of any and all situations. And investing into your education and your hobbies, especially if that is going to be your career, is important. And aside from your kind of main career, you should also be investing into side things that you enjoy. Obviously, this is your hobbies, whether it is horseback riding or painting, or let's say piano playing or singing. You want to take up some singing lessons. That is all very, very important, because this gives you a well-roundedness to you, and you are going to be able to be relatable to other people. That, of course, is better for networking, and that's better for your brain development too. You, of course, want to be kind of not a one-trick pony. That is why aside from education and your actual career, your financial career, it's very important to have things that make you different from other people, and also things that further fuel your passions. Now let's talk about the last two, and these are materialistic. This one is going to be where you live. So your surrounding areas, okay? You know, they say birds of a feather flock together, things like that. So if you have the choice and if you have the opportunity, of course, after investing into your education, and first and foremost, of course, I think the most important investment is something that's going to give you a monetary investment back, whether that is your education or your business, and then everything else comes next, right? Of course, don't take this to the extreme. Don't just kind of neglect your health and physical appearance. Those are very, very important. So try to do them hand in hand. However, this next one would be the next step, and that is really your surroundings and where you live. I'm not saying go rent a $200,000 a month mansion, nothing like that, but just make sure that you live somewhere that is kind of a representable and somewhere where you want to be. You know, if you're striving for the top, you want to be around people who are also striving for the top. If you're just kind of, this is actually quite an interesting story. There are some people that are really quite well off, but for some reason they're very stingy on the way they live their life, and I think that actually holds them back and gives them more of a mindset of lack as opposed to abundance. Because if you can't afford it, why not live in a nicer area, in a nicer neighborhood? It doesn't have to be in the biggest house there, or even the kind of mean house that everyone lives in. You know, the mean in math, like the average house. You can just live in something lower end, but just be around the vibe, because that's honestly gonna open your horizons. You're going to kind of meet people who are on the same, not even on the same, they'll probably be on a higher kind of mental state, and you will be able to expand your horizons like that. So living in a nice place is actually quite important. Aside from, you know, like saving money and living somewhere dingy when you perfectly have the means not to do it, I think it's unreasonable, and I think it holds people back. And then the last thing. This one might come off very strange and unexpected to all, but that is the vehicle you drive. This is really important. If you are kind of a young adult and you have, let's say, some success in your career, or you're getting there, it is important to represent yourself with a nice car. I'm not saying, again, get a Lamborghini or get a like super expensive 2020 BMW, but I do think a car really truly represents you. And if you are kind of getting to the you know, more successful in your career and more advanced and a little bit older, it does look a little off-putting if you are driving like a 1998 Toyota Corolla, right? That is not only probably dangerous at this point, but it just doesn't look great, and it doesn't fit your kind of aspirations and perhaps even maybe your accomplishments that you have in your life. And this is the thing, again, you do not have to spend crazy amounts of money. This is what people don't understand, is you don't need to put up, let's say, $50,000 up front to get a nice car. You can lease a car. If you have really good credit, then you can get better rates, or you can finance a car. And again, if you have great credit, the percentage is going to be very low, that it's going to be negligible. Honestly, it's going to be negligible, and you really can't afford to pay that amount of money. Like, it does not have, you can get a nice car, and depending on your credit, it's not going to be crazy high payments. Actually, I don't even think they have to be high. And it also depends on your down payment. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but I do want you to keep this kind of in your conscience. If you are trying to aspire to be in high places, it is kind of a must that you do have a vehicle that represents that. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but don't have a beat up rusty car that's going to put you and others into dangers driving it around. Again, safety should be your #1 priority, but with the car, make sure that you are investing in your education and your business, and really put this kind of as a fixed expense for your future. If you're not there yet, that's okay. Again, I really advise being financially responsible with money, and it's kind of interesting because women don't want to splurge on things like this. However, they have no problem saving months of like rent and stuff to buy a, let's say, $3,000 or $4,000 or even $5,000 designer bag. And in my opinion, that's honestly such a waste of money, because if you are in a state where you can't afford that type of luxury, then bravo, go get it. But if you have other things that are not in check, such as driving a dingy car or having something problematic about you that you can fix, for example, getting a better hair color or going to the dermatologist, cleaning your skin, getting a personal trainer to really make yourself feel better, or even getting organic healthy food, I would advise to get that as opposed to a kind of a designer bag that's going to go out of style and probably just is not the best way to use your money, right? You want to elevate yourself from within and your appearance and your image, and then focus on and supplement everything else. But if I were kind of first starting out and I was pondering where to spend the money, these would be all of the things. I hope that you found this video helpful. Do hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.